Which reminds me, Kim Kardashian's here. She's had a lot of black men celebrate in her end zone. Kim, word of advice, close your legs. You have more public beef than Kendrick and Drake. Thank you, guys.
I didn't really like that joke. Maybe it's just me being a woman, but I think, one, he referred to it as beef.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like...
The curtains, baby.
I don't like vaginas being referred to as beef curtains. That's really takes away some of the good vibes that I have going on down there.
Yeah, but I mean, not all of them are beef, but I guess the insinuation would be that what goes in must come out. And even she was making a joke about how much black dick she's taken. So the insinuation is
That's crazy.
It's gotten torn up to the point where it's like curtains on the outside.
I mean, fair enough.
Welcome back to Breaking Takes, everyone. What up, what
Hello
up?
again. How is everybody? How are you?
I'm good. I know I keep changing my environments. I'm not being held
I'm not in a
hostage
where
house.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm not being dragged around being held hostage. I'm in an Airbnb in Panama City. So I got some, quality shades behind me with the 95-degree sun peeking through. Can still feel it. But yeah,
we'll be close together actually next week. I will be in the Dominican Republic. So we will be close,
just a hop,
closer
skip,
than
and a
we
jump.
have been.
Yeah, like a 40-minute flight away. If you want to come say hello, or maybe I hop over for a margarita.
Yeah, come to the DR.
Yeah, 100%. Just a quick flight. Just
join my bachelorette. And yeah, I'm sure it's a group of girls. I'm sure you'll be welcomed.
I'm just going to hop on the PJ real quick. Tell them to fire up the jets. Just a quick trip. You don't have to refuel it, guys. I'll tell my staff, I only need 3 of you for this flight.
No big deal.
Just a couple bottles of champagne.
Yeah, I know how you travel in style.
You know how I roll. I had someone make this for me. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, and it's all blacked out.
Oh yeah, I actually
I made coffee cup.
I made the barista draw on the cup with a Sharpie because I said I only drink blacked out coffee.
Yeah.
He thought I was talking about the Americano I want it black. I was like, no, I want everything black. The cup, the coffee, just.
How's the coffee down there?
Oh,
this is 5 stars. What's your?
This happens to be one of the better coffees I've had down here.
Okay, but in general, what's your out of 5-star rating of Panamanian coffee?
I would say 4.4.
Okay, that's good. That's solid.
And if I hadn't been to Colombia, I would have given it probably a 4.8. But because we were in Colombia, that's the best coffee I've ever had by a good bit.
That's how I feel about Jamaica. Jamaica is also big for the coffee bean as Colombia is. And in France, they don't really do coffee, but like espresso,
still good coffee.
Espresso.
Yeah, really good espresso.
Stuff.
I would say here the biggest difference is that you can buy a $5 bag of coffee and it's exceptional.
Oh yeah.
In Brooklyn, you buy a $5 bag of coffee and it's usually shit. Like the end grinds from them, and you have to spend $13 for a decent bag.
The worst coffee
here,
I've ever had is here. Here in America.
And you paid $27 for it, for a bag of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the generic shit, the lower shelf for Panama is like mid upper for Brooklyn. The bottom is higher. So
I believe it. Shout out to Panamanian coffee then.
Yeah. Speaking of coffee, the roast of Tom Brady happened.
That's true. And that aired on Netflix?
Yes, it was live on Netflix. I did not catch it live, which I'm going to actually, as I'm thinking of that, I'm going to write something else down that happened during the roast before I forget to mention that. So
because I've not been on Netflix in a minute. I've been busy watching another show on Hulu. So I've not seen the roast at all, but as we talked about beforehand, I'm a huge fan of Nikki Glaser. So I'm definitely aware, and I've seen some snippets of the roast.
Yeah, she absolutely crushed it. If you guys haven't seen it, the Roast of Tom Brady happened last week on Netflix. It was actually live, and it's almost 3 hours. So like there was a lot that
Wow.
there's a lot
That's
that
a
was
long
not cut
time.
out. They did cut out one part, which I'm going to get
3
into.
hours, though.
Almost 3 hours.
That's pretty crazy. I think, like, maybe wrap it up at 2.
So,
It's almost like, oh, you got a whole nother hour of content to roast me with.
so because it was live, I'm assuming that's why it was 3 hours. Because when you see the
Yeah.
other Comedy Central roasts that are an hour and a half, it's probably closer to 2.5, 3. But they're cutting out a lot of jokes or just like a lot of
Yeah.
jokes that don't make it. Here, it was just straight through live, and there were some awkward moments as
I know
I'm
Kim
talking.
K was there.
Yes.
That is one. Is that the awkward moment you're about to talk about?
Yes,
Okay.
There's 2.
I did see some headlines about Kim K, but like I said, I did not hear what she said or see what went down.
Okay, so let me just start with that then. So Kim Kardashian did a surprise guest appearance for the roast. She was sitting in the audience, and then apparently no one knew she was going to be there because there weren't that many jokes about her except for
Why was she there? It's a good question.
just celebrity status.
She was just in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it was billed as the greatest roast of all time. So Kim K, you got to get someone to shake their ass up there. But yeah, Kim K was there. Apparently there wasn't a lot of warning about her being there, so there weren't really many jokes about her in the roast.
I heard one that was pretty good.
Was it from Kevin Hart or Tony Hinchcliffe?
I think Hinchcliffe, the one about like the kids being with Kanye.
And then the Kendrick and Drake beef.
I didn't hear that one, but I heard the joke that was like, there's something scarier, something scary, but what's scarier is knowing that because you're here tonight, your kids are with their dad.
Yes, I think.
Which was pretty funny because that,
yes,
Kanye West is a little scary.
I think that was him, Tony Hinchcliffe, who said it too. And then he also said to Kim, he said, "Close your legs. You have more public beef than Drake and Kendrick."
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know. I didn't really like that joke. Maybe it's just me being a woman, but I think he referred to it as beef.
Oh yeah.
I don't like
the curtains, baby.
I don't like vaginas being referred to as beef curtains. That's really takes away some of the good vibes that I have going on down there.
Yeah. But I mean, not all of them are beef, but I guess the insinuation would be that what goes in must come out. And even she was making a joke about how much black dick she's taken. So the insinuation is
crazy,
it's gotten torn up to the point where it's like curtains on the outside.
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. Because I was going to say, she hasn't slept around that much. But when you look at her history, it is quite a few pages long.
Yeah. I'll tell you why I like that joke. I thought it was a solid joke, but I'm pretty sure Tony Hinchcliffe wrote it in the room. So he didn't have it pre-planned because there were other comics talking about how they didn't get any warning that Kim Kardashian was going to be there, and they wish that they knew because they would have written jokes for her. And Tony Hinchcliffe
got to think on your feet.
Went off the teleprompter. He was like, "Fuck it," and he looked right at Kim and delivered the joke, and that was the one he ended on. And I was like, "That's sick." But so speaking of Kim, she went up and had a solid set, like a really good set, especially for a non-comedian. I thought she's
doing pretty good at that stuff. When you see her on SNL, and she's gotten pretty good actually at being like an MC type performance.
Yeah. She makes fun of herself. She's self-deprecating. She has pretty good timing. But on the live Netflix showing, she got booed incessantly when she went onto the stage, when they were playing it live.
Her walking up
to the point where she started to tell her first joke and she couldn't even say it, and Kevin Hart had to walk over and quiet down the crowd. And then she went into her set after that. And then once Netflix posted it, they took out that part. That was the only part I think that Netflix took out, was when Kim Kardashian was getting booed. And I don't know if Kim asked them to cut it out or Netflix was just like, yeah, we'll get rid of that. Like there were no jokes. It's just her getting booed for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But I still think it's entertaining because it's like all part of the roast. Like she's kind of like this villain, mysterious character. No one really knows if her and Tom Brady dated. There were always those rumors that they hooked up, and she kind of like makes fun of that. And she just gets the shit boot out of her. And then if you watched it while Netflix was going live, you saw it. But then if you the version that's up doesn't have that. Yeah, they edited it out. Yeah.
Now, so do you know where the roast took place?
At the LA Forum.
Okay, so in LA.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm just trying to. I actually didn't know there was a roast even happening. I heard nothing about it until it was happening. So I was just kind of like, where do they advertise the roast, and what type of crowd was at the roast?
Yeah, I feel the same. I didn't know, and the only reason I knew ahead of time was because I followed Tony Hinchcliffe, and he posted that he was a late addition to the roast. But other than that, I had no idea it was dropping. So the crowd setup was interesting because it was part of the Netflix is a Joke festival out in LA. And so the lower level, stage level, was all celebrities, people in tuxedos, kind of like a Met Gala, Oscars type crowd.
Yeah.
And then the actual arena, like bleacher seating, was fucking like had to be 80% people from Boston or Boston ties, Patriots fans. Because like you'll get a lot of Northeast transplants that move out to LA, and people were going buck wild for Tom Brady, for Gronkowski was there, Julian Edelman, even Drew Bledsoe. People were like, Drew, which at first I thought were boos.
Only legendary because he was the QB before Tom Brady. Like nobody would ever know who that is.
Yeah. But I would say it was like sort of like a Bills Mafia type crowd in the arena. And then a lot of security, and then the celebrities. Like you saw a line and whenever they panned to the crowd, there were just a line of like the biggest guys you've ever seen standing in front of where like the celebrity seating started, just because they were like, someone is gonna get so fucked up, they're just gonna like try to say something to Chelsea Handler.
I'm definitely going to hear all about it. I follow Nikki Glazer's podcast pretty avidly, so I've not gotten to. She'll definitely spill the tea about. She's so awesome. So I encourage people to listen to her pod if you like hearing like behind the scenes stuff. She'll definitely get into things that we wouldn't even have thought of, like just actual vibes. Like, did she write jokes beforehand? I know she went on Howard Stern afterwards and said she had even like worse jokes that she kind of scratched out. And I also heard that Giselle, Tom Brady's ex, is kind of like not feeling it. No, a lot of the jokes, but I mean, I just think it's fair game. Like, Tom Brady signed up for the roast. You were married to him for forever. Inevitably there's going to be jokes about the divorce.
Also, I don't even think Giselle watched the roast. She just had someone tell her that she was mentioned a bunch of times in it.
She probably just might have seen a clip or two.
But if you're actually listening to the jokes, she was the butt of zero jokes. It was all
That's kind of how I felt.
It was all about
him. It was like basically with the L, like he lost his wife.
It was all about her leaving
for a season
Tom
where
Brady.
He sucked.
The jokes were about her leaving Tom, and like one of the jokes was like, "Thank God you lost your family and your kids to go 8-9 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers." Hats off to you. But they were all like, how could you Tom, you told your wife to try jujitsu, and now she's fucking her jujitsu coach. Like, good job. She left you for a guy that could, strangle the shit out of you. It was all about like him being a fuck up, and Giselle was the person that left. So if she actually watched the roast, she actually comes off looking rather neutral / good in it.
I don't know why. And who knows if she even herself commented on that, because in celebrity world, it's all through the grapevine. like their team, somebody close to the source.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I'm Giselle, I honestly would not have even watched. I would not care.
No.
And I would just move on with my life. And I did see that TMZ caught up with Nikki Glaser to address the fact that Giselle was not super pleased. And a reason I love Nikki Glaser is because she is so real. She just straight up was like, yeah, I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
Like, she's not offering any apologies
And
for
she
anything.
shouldn't be. She shouldn't
No.
be. She fucking killed it. Arguably the best set of the night was Nikki Glaser.
Duh. Yeah. She's just so good at that.
Yeah. And
so.
I saw Nikki Glaser's appearance on Howard Stern, and she was talking about some of the jokes that made it in some of the jokes that didn't make it in. And apparently, right before the roast, the two things that Tom said:
no kids,
and no going after Robert Kraft for that whole prostitute massage scandal.
I don't know that motherfucker. I can't stand. I get protecting the kids because they're kids, but like, why are you protecting this old ass man that is definitely weird? But I guess I don't need to say why because.
Yeah.
You know, if you're willing to protect somebody, that usually means you're a little bit too close to whatever's going on there.
The first roaster, Jeff Ross, didn't listen to the Robert Kraft rule. He made a joke about Robert Kraft giving massages, and Tom Brady stood up and said, don't fucking say that again. And after
Did he know he was going to do you think he did that because he knew it would kind of cause a fuss, or do you think he genuinely like didn't think the mic would pick him up? Because the mic
Tom Brady
what he
did
said.
it?
Yeah, the mic picked up because Tom Brady like goes up, whispers in his ear, except it's not a whisper because the microphone is right there, and he's like, "Don't say that shit again."
I think it was a genuine show of, I'm going to stick up for the owner of the Patriots. They obviously still have a good relationship.
I think he pulled a Will Smith, basically, except without the slap.
Yeah, I think he was like, yo, keep my owner's name out of your mouth. And
gotcha.
Yeah, and it's also kind of funny because, like, the Giselle thing, like, there are a bunch of jokes being made about the Giselle situation, the divorce, even though they're not directly making fun of Giselle. And Tom Brady was just like sitting there laughing at all of it. But then someone mentions Robert Kraft's name, and he's like, yo, keep that fucking name out of your mouth.
Don't you fucking say that.
Yeah, my wife is fine, but if you even mention a massage, I will end you.
Yeah. So. No, that's crazy. But yeah, I'll definitely have to check out the full thing so I can really get the vibes of the roast.
And the most awkward night by far was a surprise appearance from Ben Affleck. And I didn't
even hear about him being there.
You shouldn't have, because it was so bad. It was so jarring to watch in real time. Like, this is one of the examples of, like, I truly think some human beings' brains are so celebritized that they just stop being there. Like, there's nothing. He's dead behind the eyes. People just shuffle him out and they say, speak for 5 minutes. And then he goes back into his cave until another movie, until Matt Damon calls him and is like, we got another movie. But he came out, and instead of roasting Tom Brady, Ben Affleck just went on a 5-minute rant about how people are mean on Twitter. And he said he went through Tom Brady's account and singled out a user, Tall Boy Henry. Like, he literally said the username of the Twitter.
At like Tall Boy Henry, 1212.
Yeah, literally. He was like Tall Boy Henry with a bunch of E's. And probably one of those accounts that doesn't even have an avatar. It's just like the Twitter logo with like the user 12. Like one of those like burner troll accounts. And he's like, I can't believe Tall Boy Henry would say this about Tom. And, it's Twitter's so mean. And he also said something like the roast of Tom Brady is just another Thursday for Ben Affleck. So I feel like Ben Affleck was just projecting all the hate.
Yeah. That's very Ben Affleck of him.
Yeah.
I actually am I like Ben Affleck. I like that he always looks tired.
Yeah.
He definitely, I mean, he's actually a really intelligent guy. I've watched some of his interviews where he goes through the making of a lot of movies over his career, which was really interesting. And I also watched the J-Lo documentaries, which are
I haven't seen it yet.
so bad. I mean, I didn't finish them, but I watched enough. And one thing that actually really struck me as interesting in them was, as we know, Ben Affleck is an alcoholic. He's been kind of on and off again recovering alcoholic with some ups and downs for a while now.
You could tell by his
plus.
face. He looks pretty good in the appearance, I have to
good.
say. He looks good
you
right now.
can tell by his back tattoo. That had to be a...
That was not a sober
only
tattoo.
An alcoholic, can get something like that. But so he is an addict. And something that was really interesting is, you know, much like Kim K, J-Lo gets a lot of hate by publicity and just people like me and you because she's so strange. I mean, she's such a talent. I mean, she's gorgeous, especially for being like a 50-year-old woman. She can definitely perform on stage, but it's her being like Jenny from the block. Meanwhile, it's like you have no real... Yes, you came from the Bronx, but like, you haven't been here for like 30 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But something that was interesting was Ben said that he really connects with J-Lo on a level that he straight up considers J-Lo an addict. Like the way that she's very obsessive over being famous and like getting attention. He was like, I really understand this constant desire for something. Yeah. And that was really an interesting viewpoint because I don't think anybody really would have thought about that for J-Lo. But then when he puts that together, you go, oh, like now I kind of understand why you're so cringy.
Yeah.
It's because, you are like literally constantly trying to have something like some sort of attention, and we can see how hard you're trying, and therefore it a lot of times sucks or flops. So now it makes sense. So Ben and J-Lo are married, and good for them, I guess.
I mean, I've never experienced anything close to what J-Lo has experienced, and I will never get to that point where you're walking down the red carpet and people can't even formulate words to ask you interview questions. That has to be very addicting once you get a taste of it. It's also an interesting way, I agree, to formulate fame, to say that this is a problem and this is an addiction, and Ben Affleck, like he kind of like when he walked into the roast, or even like the addiction thing, because I assume he was saying this to the camera on the documentary.
Yeah.
He kind of had the vibe during the roast where he missed therapy that day, and he just happened to walk into the forum. Like he's just walking around, and the next person he talked to.
That's what I love about Ben Affleck, though.
Yeah, like kind of like the documentary. I haven't seen it, but it kind of has a vibe of like the camera just happened to be there while Ben Affleck was venting, and that's
everything Ben says, he says in the manner of exhaling from a cigarette. Like as soon as you take a drag, and you're just like. Like that's Ben, his whole vibe.
He's become the meme of himself. It's become full circle.
The cigarette and the fat ass Dunkin' Donuts drink.
Yeah. So that was essentially, he came out, I think he made one joke, and then he just went into like, why are we doing this to Tom? Why are we saying all these mean things about Tom? And I was like, are we still talking about Tom? I don't think we are.
Starting to get personal.
Yeah. I think someone was probably like trying to fucking give him the hook on the side of the stage. Like this could go on for a long time if we don't give him the light.
Yeah, but wrap it up.
But check out the roast for sure. It's very entertaining. Good time. Nikki Glaser kills it again.
Definitely.
But what are you getting into this week?
Speaking of fun and games,
Oh, hell yeah.
Are you familiar with, or have you ever been to Dave & Buster's?
I have. Been to a couple birthdays there.
Man, yeah, exactly. I like Dave & Buster's. I liked it as a kid, and I almost like it more as an adult.
I haven't been in
know
a
why.
while. I'd have to go back as a fully formed adult.
I think I might like it more now because I'm the one with the money. So I'll buy whatever the fuck I want. I'll buy as many game coins. I think at Dave & Buster's these days, it's like you load shit onto a card.
Yeah.
It's not like Chuck E. Cheese with the coins anymore, but like I can ball so hard in there. When I was a kid, I had to like beg mom and dad for like $10 extra.
Big Bank Sam. I was going to say, it's got to be a good feeling to walk up to the prize counter and some kid's just like begging his parents, like, Mom, I just need 20 more tickets. Like, can I please get a few more coins? And you're like, I'll take everything.
That is funny because the last time I went, I was an adult. Prior to that, I hadn't been in 10 plus years. But they put one close to my house back in Maryland, and I went on a date there one time, and it was fun. I mean, it was just fun because who doesn't want to play games? But I went into the prize area, and you know, when you're a kid, you go into the prize area and you just like, you're looking up at the ceiling, and it's like there's always like a PlayStation 5 or like something crazy up there.
Like 500,000 tickets.
Yeah, you'd have to play for like a month straight.
Yeah, you have to drop. You have to drop 10 times the worth of the PS5 to just have a chance to win it. Yeah,
exactly. And as an adult, I went and like I only, with you know whatever points I had at the end of it, I went in there and I only got things that were like, oh, I can eat this. Like when I was a kid, it was all about the cool piece of tech or the cool toy. Now it's like, I don't want any of that junk. If I can't eat it, I don't want it.
Yeah, values change. Like groceries are expensive as an adult. I gotta fucking fill that stomach.
Yeah, well, so there might be actually a better chance to afford our groceries by going to Dave & Buster's because Dave & Buster's are all set to allow customers to place bets on arcade games.
Okay.
So I know things have gotten pretty loose since like sports betting is now legal, which is pretty cool. And I mean, I like sports betting because, I mean, one, you used to bet on horses anyway, so that was always kind of a sport. But, you know, you can do it on your phone. Like, just bet on. I don't because, honestly, because I just haven't really looked into it. I've never been into fantasy football, so I won't care about that. But now I really should probably look into it as far as, like, betting on baseball. Because, you know, I follow baseball pretty 100%. Well. I could probably make some money, but...
Yeah, I was going to say.
The difference here, though, is that me watching baseball alone in my home and, like, playing on my phone and maybe winning a couple $100 is pretty different than being in a shared space with little children running around trying to actually just have their like 10th birthday party. Meanwhile, me and you were in there like putting all of our money on the table over a game of skee ball. Yeah. Because mama needs a new car.
Yeah.
Okay?
100%. Yeah. You're playing a game of skee ball. And then all of a sudden, you're on the phone with your bank trying to take out a second mortgage on your house, just crying, begging on your knees to the guy at the bank, like, please fucking let me reverse finance. I'll do anything. And they're kids that are like, Mommy, why is that guy on his knees on the carpet next to all these chicken fingers? Why is he just like playing around on the floor and crying like that? And mom's just like, yeah. That's what your father did. That's why he left also.
I was going to say that divorce numbers are about to go so high. And for just citing Dave & Buster's as the source for their divorce. Yeah. It used to be a place to go to bring your children joy. Now it's a place to go to lose your entire life's fortune.
Yeah.
over a little game of air hockey or something.
Yeah. Yeah, the fucking I'm trying to remember what my thing was at Dave and Buster's cuz I
Yeah, I was going to ask you what's your like go-to game or two of an arcade?
So if I'm going to an arcade, I do like the shooting games. Like I love the Duck Hunter. I love the race car driving, like when you're actually not standing up and driving the wheel, but when you're actually in the seat and you can feel the vibration. I love those games. What did I do? Skeet ball's fun. I remember playing my brother's skeet ball. Just like I guess the only things I don't really like were there was always that one thing in the middle where like the lights went up and down and you had to try to
I was so good at that game.
I sucked at it. So I was
I
like,
used
fuck
to
that.
be so good at that game. I mastered the shit out of that at Chuck E. Cheese when I was younger. But yeah, you're right. The lights go up and down really quick, and you want to smack the button right when it's in. There's a point where the lights will cross like a Mega Millions area or whatever, and you want to smack the button at the right time. I got so rich with my Chuck E. Cheese tickets on that, but I don't think I really play it at Dave and Buster's. I definitely love the classics, air hockey, skee ball, racing, but it's interesting because I think I already liked the games that gave me gambling vibes. There's the one where it's like a big machine and there's probably like 5 or 6 sides to it, and you put in a coin and the coin goes in and then it falls and it'll push other coins.
Yeah.
And so the point is like you want to get as many coins to fall off as you possibly can.
Yes, I
So
remember
the more
that.
coins you put in, the more coins build up, but you want to try and put them in so they fall in just the right place so it'll push all the other coins down and then you'll, I guess, score all those points.
I remember that. Yeah. It is funny just like imagining a place where you bring in the dynamics of Vegas where there's also a children's birthday parties happening right next.
Exactly.
Like in Vegas is
Did
just
they think this through?
Yeah, Vegas is just people drinking vodka sodas, staying at the tables as long as possible because the drinks are free. They're swiping their credit cards at the ATM for the 17th time because it's maxed out. They're calling their wives, explaining why the fucking they can't draw money out of the accounts anymore. And now next to them, you're gonna have people singing 6-year-olds happy birthday.
Yeah.
And that's just gonna be like in the same venue is wild. Like
They definitely need to up their security personnel because I mean, it was already pretty crazy in Dave and Buster's as is, just with screaming children around. And now you're going to have drunk, angry, competitive people with their entire life savings on the line.
Yeah.
And I'm also wondering just like, how annoying would it be to be like, this is my 11th birthday and all I want to do is play skee ball, and fucking Jim Bob and his goons have been hogging up the skee ball lines.
Yeah.
Because they can't come home empty-handed tonight.
Wait, I think the plumber guy might be
here?
outside. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry for the interruption. We are back.
That's okay. Well, yeah, so just to give some more information, this is from CNBC. So it says here that Dave & Buster's is taking its games to a new level by offering social wagering on its app. So customers can soon make a friendly $5 wager on a Hot Shots basketball game, a bet on skee ball, or any other arcade game. So the betting function is expected to launch in the next few months and will work through the company's app, which they're partnering with the software company Lucra. So right now they said that they are going to be putting a limit on the size of the bets. I guess they want to start slow. You know, they got to see how this is all going to play out. But yeah, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this goes. But
do you think,
I mean, I might be down to place a bet on skee ball or something.
100%. Do you think it'll devolve into adults placing bets on the outcome of kids playing the arcade games, but the kids have no idea? Like,
that would be interesting.
Like the adults are just like, they're out of shit to bet on, and fucking, like, as addicts do, they're like, all right, I bet you $500 that kid craps out a skee ball before his sixth throw, and the other guy's like, yeah, I'll fucking take that action.
That would be fun, actually, because I guess that you wouldn't really be able, I mean, you can't, I guess, legally, although there's got to be loopholes, you can't legally hustle a child.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, like, well, what if we went up to, like, the Hot Shots basketball and it's me versus a 5-year-old? I'm putting all my money on myself. I'm betting on me.
I mean, it's his, unless he's a child star, it's his parents' bankroll, not his.
Exactly.
You know, he
unless
had to get it somewhere.
He's Lil Romeo in that basketball movie.
Yeah. You'd be.
Then he's going to rob me of all my money.
Unless it's a Like Mike situation.
Yes, that's the movie. That was my brother's, like, favorite movie.
I love that movie. Imagine it is like a child star, modern day Macaulay Culkin, but you don't know it, and you lose. Let's say you bet him $20 and you win, and then he's just like 10,000.
Oh shit!
And he's like, "What? Are you a pussy? I made 5 movies last year," and you're just like,
I'd be like, "Yeah, I am a pussy."
Yeah,
absolutely not. I'm wondering,
I open gifts on YouTube. I make $50,000 a video.
Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish. Shit. I'm wondering if kids will start to, like, gambling. Is gambling going to become a bigger problem if we fast forward like 10, 20 years from now? Is gambling going to be, like, out of control?
10, 20 months from now. 100.
Yeah.
Like, you can't watch fucking, like, a Martha Stewart cooking show without it saying brought to you by DraftKings. Like, this chicken parmesan's, you know, brought to you by the Saints versus the Chargers minus 430. And it's like, where isn't gambling advertised nowadays? It's just evolving into everything. Like, there's not a single aspect of society. I'm trying to think of, I guess, like, kids entertainment would be the last thing that's untouched by gambling advertising, just legally, because you can. And Dave & Buster's is kind of meshing that together in a legal loophole way where it's like, well, there's no law against gambling near kids. You just can't advertise to them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm not much of a gambler myself because I typically feel like I have bad luck.
It's also called being a loser. I'm just kidding.
I don't like to. My girlfriend doesn't like me to say I have bad luck because she thinks it manifests more bad luck. But so now I just keep it inside, but I just don't ever. I'm a really risk adverse person. I'm not somebody that ever really wants to gamble.
Well, what makes you think you have bad luck?
Because if I am in any situation where I need to, like, guess the right door or, like, pick something like that and it needs to be right, I typically will get it wrong. And I think it's because I, like, am overthinking. But I just don't want to be in a situation where I need to, like, guess what's gonna happen.
You think it could be biased though, where you're just remembering your losses more than your wins? Where if you think about it,
No,
you've
I
actually
mean,
guessed right a bunch of times.
Maybe. I mean, potentially.
I'm just trying to get on
yeah.
your side. I'm just trying to get you back in the
I
game.
don't know. Yeah, you're like, I need my partner to get back in the game.
I'm just trying to get you to drop
Well,
500
here's
on
what I
the
was
next
gonna
O's
say,
game. Yeah.
Is that I should have put money on the Kentucky Derby because that also just took place last weekend. Or whenever you hear this, a couple weekends ago. But I like just looking at the names of horses. And they said that there were 2 horses that were like favored to win the Kentucky Derby. One was what the hell are their names? Let's see the list here. One was, I know it's something. Where the hell Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone. And one Dornoch. And I was like, okay, I don't like either of those names. So I'm looking down the name of horses, and there's one name that just brings me so much joy. And I was like, that's the one that I would put money on. The name of the horse was Mystic Dan. And I just love the name because it's like, who the fuck names a horse Mystic Dan?
Yeah, it's like, is he
I
single?
love the
Does he have a family?
of Dan.
Yeah,
exactly.
Is he a serial
so
killer?
I was like, I'm definitely putting money on Mystic Dan. Who ends up winning the Kentucky Derby by just a little tip of the nose? Mystic fucking Dan.
Wow.
Okay? I could have been a multi-millionaire, Zach.
Yeah.
And
Billion.
here I am instead doing my public service duty of breaking takes. I wouldn't stop breaking takes even if I was a millionaire.
You could have been itching in a Dave and Buster's next to an 8-year-old birthday party where everyone's playing air hockey.
Yeah.
Going, fucking let's go, Mystic Dan. Come on, motherfucker. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just like, yeah. Come on.
No, so yeah, I had the lucky guess there, but I didn't even watch the Kentucky Derby. I wanted to.
Yeah.
But beforehand I literally went on there. I looked at all the horses' names. I was like, well, if I was to place a bet, I'm riding for Mystic Dan. The Kentucky Derby happens. I know nothing about it. I'm watching something else. And then I go and look who won the fucking Derby, and it was Mystic Dan.
Yeah, that's your sign to become a degenerate gambler. You can't win if you don't play.
I have only ever won money betting on horses, though.
There you go.
So I think horses are my thing. I think I'm meant to wear a big hat and a silly suit and go bet money on horses like a super rich white person should.
Yeah.
A rich American white girl should.
I would love to do like a Kentucky Derby style breaking takes episode where we're both just dressed in that like I have the classic Derby suit on and you have your hat.
Gotta
with
have
all,
the
like,
hat.
the fucking feather done up. You got the gloves.
Yeah.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe for sure.
Yeah,
I wouldn't remember
no.
the race, but it
You
would be a
usually
good time.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, growing up in Baltimore, Preakness is in Pimlico in Maryland. So that's one of the other. What are they? There's the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and what's the other one? The Belmont.
Belmont. I went to Belmont once as well when I was in college, and we got so fucked up. The race started, and I missed the first half of the big race that everyone's there to see, and I'm just like, what? And the fucking horn sounds and the races are off. The horses are off. And
You'll
I'm just
miss
like,
it. I mean, it's happening for literally like 60 seconds.
Yeah,
you have that much time to see the race.
And there's 35 of them, so like after the 10 races before that, I'm just like, whatever. Like I'll just get, we'll drink and then I'll see the race when it happens. Then it happens, you're like, oh shit.
Nope.
But
that was the same for me.
It's a good time.
Yeah, same for me. So, I guess I'll think about becoming a gambler. And maybe we'll get rich quick, Zach.
We could have a live tracker of both of our net worths based on our gambling. And so each week we can have, all right, I'm negative 4,000. I'm plus 8,000 this week. And then we'll have our bank accounts on the side so you know like how long we have until we're homeless. That could be fun.
Okay, that will happen quick. There's Dave and Buster's in Manhattan and in Brooklyn, I think, right kind of by you. So we can get busy with gambling quickly. I'm ready to go.
Me too. We'll get DraftKings to sponsor the episode to cover our losses, and then
Dave and Buster's.
We'll just fire it up. Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. That's all I got. What's up with you?
So speaking of losing money, Shohei Ohtani, I don't know if you've seen what's going on with him and his
I have.
interpreter.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, I know
Ippy?
You're tapped in.
Ippy?
Ippy, baby. So Shohei Ohtani, his interpreter pled guilty to stealing millions from the MLB star. And so Ippei Mizuhara, the former interpreter for Japanese baseball star Shohei Ohtani, will face up to 33 years in jail when he pleads guilty to stealing millions of dollars from his former friend. I like how they specify former friend. Like, FYI, they're not friends anymore.
Not after this.
Just in case you were wondering, they're not hanging out.
The thing is, it's like they actually were really close. So
yeah.
when Shohei, who used to play for the LA Angels, just got traded over to the LA Dodgers during the offseason, it was like a requirement when he was shopping for new teams. It was a requirement that the new team let his interpreter come with him.
Yeah.
Like, he would not part from his interpreter because they, I guess, got along so well and had worked up, good vibes with each other.
They were really close. So it says Mizuhara has admitted to 1 count of bank fraud and 1 count of subscribing to a false tax return. As well as a lengthy jail term, he must also pay $16,975,010 in restitution to Shohei Ohtani. Mizuhara will enter his guilty plea in the coming weeks and is set to be arraigned on May 14th. And look, stealing is wrong, especially if you're going to steal millions of dollars, like petty, stealing a Snickers bar here and there, whatever.
If you steal from Walmart, it's okay.
Yeah, whatever. Stealing's wrong, but like, it must have been so easy for the translator to steal from Ohtani because Ohtani relies on him for the info.
Yeah.
So like the translator just be like, sign this bank account real quick. And Ohtani's like, I don't understand this English document. And he's like, just sign it. It's fine. It's just like bullshit. And he's like, all right, that's another $4 million in my bank account. That had to be the easiest shit ever while it was happening.
Yeah. So do you think... Here's my thing. If you're the interpreter, I guess I find it hard to believe that the interpreter thought that he would get away with this forever, right? So I always feel like he and people in this situation, like they kind of take the fall but they get their family rich. Like, he has to pay it back. But some money is with his family, and they are far away in Japan and not giving jack shit back.
Yeah, 100%. It says here that Ohtani. I mean, there is a theory that Ohtani could be the mastermind behind the whole thing.
There was that theory, but it seems unlikely.
Yeah, it's so.
And most sources around Ohtani are really strong believers that Ohtani had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, it could be.
But you never know.
I watched the interview with Ohtani. It's hard to tell because obviously he is speaking in Japanese, and it's hard to like read the body language of someone when you don't actually speak their language. So I'm just looking at him, if I had to bet on it, if I had to go into Dave & Buster's,
if I had to gamble on it,
if I had to throw $10K on whether Ohtani was the mastermind, behind the whole thing. Let me also explain what I mean by the mastermind behind the whole thing, because it wasn't just a simple like I'm gonna steal money from Ohtani's bank account.
Yeah.
So it says Ohtani and Mizuhara became close friends beyond their working relationship after the player moved to the U.S. from Japan to begin his Major League Baseball career with the LA Angels in 2018. That relationship continued when Ohtani crossed LA to join the Dodgers on a 10-year, $700 million deal last December. But Mizuhara was fired by the Dodgers in March after admitting that he stole $4.5 million from Ohtani, the biggest star in baseball, to pay off his gambling debts. Reports have said that the plea agreement would include an admission that corroborates Ohtani's version of the events, that the player never wagered on sports, had no idea that Mizuhara did so, and was a victim of a, quote, massive theft by his former friend. MLB players are forbidden from betting on baseball and face a lifetime ban if found to place a wager on their own team. So it's like, you know, did this guy steal from Ohtani and Ohtani had no idea that he was placing bets, or was Ohtani 4D chessing the entire situation? And he's like, look, my reputation is flawless. If he gets caught for this, I just go like, I had no idea he was touching my accounts. But behind the scenes, he's just telling him where to place his bets and where to send the money. And the translator is just the fall guy. I don't think that's the case. That's just an option of the situation.
No, that was definitely talked about in the beginning of this. I forget. I mean, he's already pled guilty, so he's taken the fall, whether Ohtani had anything to do with it or not. I guess, here's my thing. Like, Ohtani's rich as fuck. Like,
700 mil.
He's literally the best baseball player in the league.
Yeah.
And that's because first of all, I don't understand Ohtani because you never get a Major League Baseball pitcher that also is a Major League Baseball hitter. And they do it so well. So he's the best player in the league. He obviously got paid as such. And it just seems like, why would he be? Why? Like, he doesn't actually need to gamble for money. He might gamble for fun.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't foresee him gambling for money.
I think also I agree with you, and I think the prison sentence also says it all. Because if you're going to take a fall, you go to jail for 5 years, maybe 10 on the high end, and then you get out and Ohtani's like, don't worry, I'll take care of you. Like, you'll never have to work again. 33 years is the rest of this guy's life. Like, he's not young. He's probably like late 30s, early 40s. Like, I mean, he might die in prison. There's a good chance he could die in prison. So this is not like taking the fall. Like, there's no point in him going to prison. And then when the translator's 75, Ohtani's like, don't worry, I got you for the last 3 years of your life. You won't have to pay for you won't have to pay for shit. Yeah, just take the fall. So
no, I mean, he definitely it seems to me that Ippei definitely just. Here's also my thing, right? And maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just a good person and I'm crazy, because this also happened to Orioles legend Jim Palmer, who broadcasts. He's a broadcaster for a lot of the Orioles games. And he recently said that he had this happen where somebody he was close with stole like $7 million or something like that.
Happens a lot.
It does happen a lot, and it makes me sad because I guess part of me feels like your rich friends and your rich family members, they don't owe you anything.
No.
But I feel like if I had a rich friend, if I was rich, say if I was a millionaire and my friend came to me and was like, I have these crazy like medical bills, like, because one of the things I know Ippei, it was like there was these dental bills and dental work, like 60 grand of like dental stuff that he was paying. And it's just like, if my friend came to me and was like, hey, I just want to ask, like, I'm super struggling right now and I need like 60K to pay off this, like, can't tell you if I'm going to pay it back, but I just want to ask.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel like most of these people would.
Yeah.
And my cats are running like track stars. If anybody hears pitter patters, they're going crazy in the background. So apologies for that.
They heard the Dave and Buster's. They're trying to break out to go place a bet on skee ball. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, I agree. No, it's sad. I think a lot of celebrities would, if this guy needed money and it was becoming.
I'm not saying it's like 20 million.
No, not 20 million.
That's a lot. But I'm just saying if he needed some money to be like, hey, my family in Japan is fucking starving.
Yeah.
While I'm over here, how do we make ends meet here?
True. I mean, in this case, it was clearly a gambling problem if Ohtani's story is correct. But that's different than asking for money. Asking for $50,000 to put on the Yankees is different than asking for, money to buy your family fish in Japan.
Even so, though, even if you were just like, if I'm Shohei and I have $700 million and my friend is like, can I have like 10 of those? I'm like, yeah, maybe.
10 million, no chance.
For $700 million.
$10 million,
that is like a
though.
drop.
Yeah, but I would do it if I genuinely wanted to spend $10 million on my friend. Like, I think I would be.
Totally.
I hope that I would be very generous with gifts and
Definitely.
end up spending a smart amount on my friends. I wouldn't bankrupt myself. But if my friend approached me and said, hey, can I have 10 mil? Fuck no. There's no chance I would give them $10 million. I would ask, like,
what's what's with your aggression with it? It seems like you're like, fuck no, because they asked. I appreciate when somebody's just direct about being like, can I have some money? Not to do anything important with it, just to have.
Sure. I would appreciate the directness instead of the fake kindness, like that a lot of family members, I'm sure, do to famous people, where they're like, oh, like just calling to wish you happy birthday, and then before they hang up, they're like, oh, by the way, I'm trying to send my kid to private school.
I'll
like,
give you
can
$1
I just
million not to call me again.
Exactly, yeah. So if they were direct and were like, hey, I have a gambling problem, can I have $10 million to cover my debts? I would say,
yeah. If it's like it definitely depends on the situation.
I would pay to send them to rehab once, maybe twice, but
maybe twice if you're feeling generous.
Yeah, if you just
hit on your skee ball gamble.
But I wouldn't just give my friend $10 million cash without some sort of business plan or some sort of like something. I thought you were talking about like, can I have $10 million? No questions asked.
I don't even think you can just give $10 million like that easily. I'm just saying, like,
I might invest $10 million into my friend.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely give my friends a good chunk of change, like just to live comfortably without stress, without worrying about making ends meet, and like without worrying about can they afford to move out or get a new car, whatever it is. Like, I wouldn't want them to stress. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, Shohei's not going to just be like, oh, here's $17 million.
Yeah.
The amount that Ipe basically took. But I'm just saying he probably could have just genuinely asked.
Yeah. Look,
like, can I have a better income?
Yeah, I think, look, if my friend asked me, can I have $10 million to throw in a game of Deer Hunter in Dave and Buster's, I'm playing an 8-year-old, and I'm throwing 10 million down and I'm beating this kid's ass. Then I would say yes. But to me, this situation, like if I'm being realistic, I think Shohei Ohtani, if he's the good guy that he seems, he would ask his friend, what is it for? And his friend if his friend's being honest, he'd say, like, look, I have gambling debt. And Shohei Ohtani might have said, like, hey, I'll cover this. When
I'll cover it, maybe but you're fired. And
yeah, you stole, like, maybe he cashes it early when it's like $500,000 and not $16 million. He's like, oh, look, I will cover it. You're fired, and I'll pay for you to go to rehab and get some help.
Yeah, and then we're
and
done.
that would have been a good friend. I think that's realistically what he would have said.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
But instead, he got caught through investigation. It was like there was another company that was investigating offshore accounts or like something like that. Because there was a lot of sketchy shit that goes on in the Caribbean with shell companies diverting.
I hear offshore accounts. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but I hear it all the time when people are harboring money elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that's what it means. But I'm just like, if I hear offshore accounts, I'm immediately like, okay,
I think
something's going on.
I think when you get to a certain level of net worth, there comes a guy in a suit that whispers in your ear, "Sir, we should probably move this offshore." And you're just like, I guess that sounds like the right thing to do. I'm just wondering, like, with the translator speaking Japanese and English and Ohtani only speaking Japanese, like, how many bets do you think the translator placed in English right in front of Ohtani? And Ohtani's trying to get his attention, like, hey, we're about to get on the plane. And the translator's just, like, on his phone outside the jet, like, yeah, put $20K on the Orioles. Yep. Yep. Ohtani's card. Yep. And Ohtani's like,
Ohtani's card.
Yeah. He's like, did you say my name? And he's like, no, 1 second. Yep. Put it down there. All right, thank you. And Ohtani does it, like, he's just placing all these bets right in front of him.
Yeah, no, it's definitely feasible. I mean, I also don't believe that Ohtani can't speak English.
Okay, explain.
I don't know what. Like, I just don't believe it because, well, I know it's been reported that he does speak passable English and Spanish. But I understand not wanting to speak a language that's not your native language because you can't, when you don't know every word of the vocabulary, you can't always express yourself in the best way. So you want to use your native tongue. But I just think, like, a lot of these players, like, you've been here. I see it all the time because I watch. We have a lot of Spanish players, not a lot, but a handful on the Orioles. And I watch the post-game interview and they'll be like, oh, like, this is Anthony Santander and his interpreter so and like, then Santander will just answer everything and they're always like, oh, I barely speak English, and then they speak so proper. I'm like, you definitely do speak English, you just don't want to. It's
a good way to get out of interviews for sure, because you're
and just get out of, like, not wanting to, like, deal with it. So I mean, it's also, I guess, Ipe was falsifying stuff, right? Like, Ipe had impersonated Ohtani, right?
So
like,
that was the last part of this article that I thought was worth mentioning goes into that. So it says Ipe Mizuhara, the translator, exploited his relationship with Ohtani to plunder millions from the star's account for years, at times impersonating Ohtani to bankers, prosecutors said. So this is a time where, like, racism was on the side of the Asians, because the interpreter walked into some bank in LA and he's like, I'm here to withdraw $5 million from Ohtani's account. And the banker's like, are you Shohei Ohtani? And he's like, of course I'm Shohei Ohtani. Look at my eyes. And the banker's just like, okay, looks close enough to me.
Like, that's so fucked. Like, if you look at pictures of Ohtani, I'm just imagining
they look nothing, like, alike.
Looking at the picture. Okay, close enough.
Yeah, Ohtani's like 4 inches taller.
They're the same, but I don't want to look like an asshole. So okay, I'll give you the bank code. Sure.
Yeah, he's like, maybe Ohtani got cancer. Like, this guy looks 5 inches taller and 80 pounds heavier than you. But I mean, the eyes are so close, so it has to be the same person. This guy was like, no, keep Asian hate going. I want to keep being able to tap into Ohtani's account. I need people.
Yeah, Ipe is just like, no,
all
bring
Asians
on the
look the same.
Come
on. All Asians keep it going. Yes, I am Ohtani.
I
need this.
That's funny. Well, I mean, sucks for that guy, but hopefully his family got something out of it, and his family is harboring is the offshore account that's harboring all this money that he stole.
He did. It was the dumbest job fuck up in history because he literally was making.
He had it made. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm gonna guess he was probably making $400K a year.
Exactly. A great job.
To whisper open secrets into Ohtani's ear during interviews. Everyone knows what was being said, either in Japanese or English, and he's just the Google Translate app. Like, he's getting paid, he's getting money stuffed up his ass to be a human Google Translate. There are thousands, probably millions of people that Ohtani could have chosen for this job, and he just happened to be friends with them. It was the dumbest fuck up of all time. He's like, I'm literally just saying words and getting paid so much goddamn money, and he blew it.
Yeah, he definitely, his eyes got a little bit bigger than his head on this one because he clearly just got carried away with wanting more and more and more. Yeah. When, I hope, that type of stuff, I don't feel bad for people like that. Cause I'm just like, you could have just asked for more support or a raise or something or help or anything. Your eyes just got too big, and so you decided to start stealing. And maybe he fucked up. I mean, do we know he could have fucked up a gamble, so then he's taking more money to try and win back the money he lost? That happens a lot in the gambling world, where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna take, he won't notice like $20K, like that's nothing. So takes $20K, loses it all. Now I gotta take like $40K, and it just keeps going.
So I saw in another article he was up 140 something million, or he won 140 million throughout his gambling career, but he was down 180, so he lost like $40 million. So he was betting. He was either betting a shit ton or he was placing massive bets. Probably both.
I'd say both.
But yeah, his eyes were bigger than his head. It's hard for a guy named Mizuhara for his eyes to get that big, so he really must have been stretching them out.
That's so fucked up.
But not when he was at the bank.
That's the xenophobia that he asked
exactly.
for.
That's I'm the banker. I'm the guy that's like, he has the Asian eyes. I'll give him this $5 million.
He's like he like puts on an Ohtani jersey and then goes and puts some dirt on it, like he's fresh out of the game.
Like he just slid into second base.
Comes into the bank like
he's got a bat over his shoulder. Hi, I'm here to withdraw $5 million.
Like, oh yeah, you just finished the game. Wait, isn't it the game live on TV?
Yeah, aren't you
now?
on the mound? Didn't you just throw the seventh inning?
No, those games aren't live.
Yeah, no, it's a seventh inning stretch.
It's all
just
scripted.
A quick, the guy's like, "Are you even Shohei Ohtani?" He's like, "Yeah," and he points to the name on his back. No, right there. See?
Why would I be wearing this?
How else could I get this jersey?
Obviously.
Yeah.
But no, great story. And yeah, Ohtani's still rich and will be rich forever.
Oh yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
So do we want to move into our last segment of the show?
Let's do it. We've been trying to we went through our first thread last week on Reddit and we had a really good time, so we're going to end it off this week with another Reddit bang.
Yes. So we are in the Am I the Asshole? So the headline is, Am I the asshole for waking my boyfriend up every time he wakes me up? Okay. Do you want to comment there or no?
I have PTSD from my dad snoring when I was a kid. And I wish I could throw a fucking pillow from my room down the hallway and hit him in the face. So if it's a snoring story, I have zero problem with this, but we'll see.
Okay. So the two parties in this story is a girl, the girlfriend, who's a 25-year-old female, and the boyfriend, who is a 27-year-old man. The girlfriend wrote this story. So she says, my boyfriend has always been a terrible sleeper. He has a hard time sleeping through the night, and when he does, he has something that I can only really describe as night terrors. He aggressively tosses and turns so much that he's whacked me in the face and given me a nosebleed.
Oh, God.
He sleepwalks around the apartment, turning lights on and sometimes eating in his sleep. And the worst thing is he often screams in his sleep, waking me up and making me think he's being attacked or something. It's terrible. The issue is that he doesn't believe he does this. He's asleep through it and thinks I'm overreacting. I videotaped him to show him, but he just laughs it off. I asked him to go see a doctor to see if there's anything he can do about it. I don't really know if there is, but it couldn't hurt. But he doesn't think it's that serious enough to seek medical attention. So here's where I may be the asshole. Every time he gets on and starts turning on the lights, I wait for him to settle back in and turn them on and off until he wakes up. Every time he wakes up by screaming, I wait for him to calm down, and then in response, begin screaming my head off until he wakes up. And it just goes on and on for a while. He's starting to get upset because he says that he's not getting a good night's sleep. But he's not taking my concerns seriously, and I truly don't have any idea how else to get him to acknowledge the issue. Am I the asshole?
So she paranormal activitied his ass. She filmed him, and his response was just, haha, whatever. Like,
don't believe it. Fake news.
Fake news. You paid an actor to put on my face and jump at it. So, I mean, I feel like the video would be the wake-up call, but I don't, like, did she send it? Like, if she just sent him the video, because sometimes, like, I'll go back and forth with my girlfriend with videos, and she'll be like, did you watch this the other day? And I'm like, nah, I just, like, if she hasn't already, she should sit him down, use the HDMI, throw it on the fucking TV, and be like, we're watching this together. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Realize what you're doing. I have no problem with giving people a taste of their own medicine if you vocalize
other solutions.
Yeah, if you've tried other solutions, if you vocalized your concerns, if it's affecting your life, which getting no sleep is certainly affecting your life. There's no replacement for no sleep.
Which the boyfriend also is like, don't do it to me. I need my good night's sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm right there with you. I do not think the girlfriend's the asshole. It sounds like she's tried to express her concerns.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't. It seems like he doesn't care because he is sleeping through it. Even when he's screaming or sleepwalking or whatever, he's like still unconscious. So to him, he's waking up. He's like, what a great night's sleep. Meanwhile, he like mosh pitted through the house and physically assaulted her in his sleep.
Part of me is just like, is this guy just too much of a pussy to break up with her? So he's just faking night terrors to try to get her to leave.
Idea. That is definitely an idea.
The long play. Try to get her to leave.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely here for her giving a taste of the old medicine. I know that I've not done that. There are times that I've thought about it in my relationship because
everyone does. I've thought about
Demi
it too.
is a heavier sleeper than I am. I'm definitely a light sleeper, and she frequently, like when she's sleeping like super hard, her elbows are like fucking deadly.
So yeah, the guy was just leaving.
But no, her elbows are deadly. Like she'll sleep on her stomach, which is, I'm not a stomach sleeper. So that to me is already peculiar.
Yeah.
So then she's asleep on her stomach. Like she's got her elbows kind of out, you know, the typical elbows, hands above the head type thing. And she has hit me in the head with her elbow.
Oh.
And every time I'm like, I am actually way nicer than I want to be because I know that she's sleeping and she's not trying to do it.
Yeah.
But I do kind of want to go Hawkmania on her and just like WWE just throw down. Because I'm like, what? If you're throwing elbows?
Yeah.
I'm throwing elbows.
She wakes up right as you're jumping off the top rope. You just fucking body slam. Oh, sorry. I was sleeping. I didn't realize I was doing it. My bad. I was sleep jumping off the top rope.
Yeah.
Sleep is non-negotiable. Whether you're single,
it's so important.
Whether you're single in a relationship, if you're not getting good sleep, it's going to be terrible for everyone involved. So
Yeah.
I'm a big believer of advocating for your sleep.
Definitely.
Advocating for your sleep relentlessly, vigorously, even to the point where it's uncomfortable because you have to get sleep. There's no way around it. You can't.
You definitely do.
You're just gonna be lying in bed. It's gonna make you hate the shit out of your fucking partner.
Your partner has to care about it. And I know so many relationships that don't, or that took a long time. I mean, Demi also she grinds her teeth really bad. And in the beginning of our relationship, you know, she was single, so she never really had, I mean, she knew she did, but she didn't have somebody that was like actively in her bed being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And waking her up on the regular, because nothing is more disturbing to me than hearing somebody crunch their own teeth in the middle of the night.
Did you have someone that crunched their teeth in your family when you were younger?
No, I didn't, but my stepdad, before he got diagnosed with sleep apnea and a CPAP machine, he would snore so loud you could hear him through the whole house.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have any issues, you know, kind of growing up. I didn't live with my mom and stepdad, so not really, no. But I do know when I did eventually move in with them, my mom was constantly complaining about not being able to sleep because he would snore so loudly next to her.
Yeah. No, yeah, there's something about hearing the sounds when you're younger, or like having a period where you're hearing sounds that wake you up, that bakes it into your mind. Because I'll sleep through thunderstorms, I'll sleep through crashes in the house, but for some reason, like a light snore just fucking irks the shit out of me. It'll trigger me out of a deep sleep, and I won't be able to fall back asleep. Even if someone's just like, I'm just like, oh my God. Because I'm like thinking about it getting worse, and like it just causes me anxiety.
Because then it's going to happen like as soon as you're drifting off. They're like,
yeah,
you know, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. God, fuck it. And I've had people that I love in the same room as me snore, and my mind goes to, how can I make this stop now with anything at any cost? And I'm like, all right, this is just the lack of sleep that's giving me these murderous thoughts. Let's put the candlestick down.
Put the knife down.
Yeah,
put
exactly.
It down.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah, I don't think this girl's an asshole at all. I do think there's something up. There's something weird about the video.
The video. That he just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like he must know that he does this, and he's just literally doesn't care because he feels like he's getting a good night's sleep. My thing is, like, you still need to see a doctor.
Yeah.
Like, because it is dangerous. Like, it is, I mean, a lot of people might sleepwalk, but it can be dangerous. And so you should see a doctor to see if there's things that can help you not do that.
Yeah. Don't people just die randomly in their sleep because they go their whole lives having sleep apnea and no one ever told them about it?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden their heart just gives out, and it's like, they went like 20 years without getting deep sleep.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely does happen. I think like sleepwalkers, it's more of like they can just eat things they shouldn't. And like, I know there was one story I heard where like, there was somebody that was like sleepwalking and eating like so much candy, and they like couldn't figure out why they were like gaining weight. But then it like they had cameras put in, and they realized they were sleepwalking and like eating like all the baked goods in the house that they thought their kids had been eating.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So yeah, you definitely should see a doctor. And honestly, girl, I think this is grounds for breaking up.
Yeah,
because if he doesn't give a shit, He's not going to give a shit.
Before you break up with him, though, you should do something that would really scare him. This
Yeah,
reminds
one
me.
final move.
So there's an episode. There's this show on Netflix called, I think it's called Pranks with Magic Pranks, with this magician who helps people get others back, and a lot of it is relationship stuff. And so there's one situation where this woman is terrified of being in the passenger seat while her boyfriend is driving, because her boyfriend just fucking Twitch streams while he's driving a car and will be looking down and literally
I'd be scared too.
Be like watching streams or
you can't watch TV and drive.
Exactly. And he does it all the time, and she feels really unsafe, and she's told him multiple times, like, cut it out. And then so this magician Justin Willman, I think his name is, he comes in and he says, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make this contraption on the top of a car, like a stunt car. So there's going to be a stunt driver driving on the top of the car, and they do this awning trick to make sure the boyfriend doesn't see the guy on the top of the car. And so the magician pretends to be an Uber driver to pick them both up. And then all of a sudden the car starts going crazy off the rails. The magician who's driving, who's the girlfriend's also in on it. The boyfriend's the only one who's not in on it. The magician starts like looking back at both of them, like, hey, where are you guys from? And the boyfriend's like, shouldn't you be looking at the fucking road? And he's like, no, it's fine. And the car, they shut it down. They make like a whole stunt course. They essentially, they're just like trying to get the boyfriend to think he's going to die.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, they stop the car, they get out, and the girlfriend's like, this is how I feel every time you drive the fucking car. I'm terrified. And then the boyfriend's like, all right, like, I get the point. I feel like you need to do something that's just gonna,
you need to keep him awake for like 5 days, 5 nights straight at least.
Yes.
He needs to go like 2 weeks with getting like the worst fucking sleep ever.
Yeah. And or I would
pay your neighbor. Pay your neighbor. That way you aren't fully involved, but pay your neighbor to like mow the lawn or leaf blow at like as soon as it's legally allowed in the morning.
Or just have like a conveyor belt of people you hire to constantly
drive
mow
by
your lawn
and honk the horn.
in shifts. Like you got 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. You got, I think that could be a great one. I was thinking, if you could make this guy think he legitimately murdered his girlfriend in a night terror, you get the movie makeup. She's lying.
That would be incredible.
Next to him in the bed with like the fucking like night lamp through her chest, and she's lying there, like, it looks so realistic. Like, and you let it go for like 5 to 10 minutes after the dude wakes up. Like, he's like, what the, like, doors are locked, no one broke in. And then you tell him, it's a joke. If he laughs that off, he's a psych. He's gonna kill someone. He's a sociopath. This guy is gonna be a problem.
That they do that, and then he's like, finally, been waiting.
He looks over.
He didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, he laughs it off like the video. She's like, haha, that's crazy.
And then he goes back to bed.
Yeah. Finally, I'll get a good night's sleep. This bitch will stop waking me up.
Oh, thank God. But no, I agree. I think she should do something drastic. But if he doesn't start showing some decency and trying to figure it out, or coming up with other actual solutions, then she should maybe see her way out of that relationship.
Yeah, sleepwalk, crip walk, do whatever you got to do, fucking out the door.
Exactly.
You got to get sleep. You got to
really
get sleep, guys.
You got to drink water and you need to sleep. Those are the secrets to being hot forever.
Yeah, if I'm sure of anything about our audience, I am sure that people who listen to this podcast value sleep. We're not about like the fucking no Mark Wahlberg 2:30 a.m. waking up personality people listen to this podcast. We're all about getting those 9 hours, not 8 hours, 9 hours.
I
fucking
like
get that extra hour. You need it. Feel good. If you work out before 6 a.m., unsubscribe from this podcast. Unless you are a night worker, then that's different because you're like getting it in after your shift and then going to bed.
Well, hey, yeah, we don't need exactly.
This isn't a rise and
don't
grind.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe only if you will, then resubscribe.
Yeah. If you're a rise and grinder, get out of here. We're all about the grind, coffee, wake up late. Don't
rise to fame.
Exactly.
Grind our coffee.
And then,
that's our rise and grind.
And then gamble it all away to Dave and Buster's. That is the cycle of life.
That's the dream, baby.
This girl should hack her boyfriend's Chase account, take out all his money, and then gamble it away at Dave and Buster's. And then when he's like, what the fuck happened to all my money? She's like, oh, you had a night terror. You drove to Dave and Buster's.
You were playing on your phone.
Like, yeah, look, here's the footage of you at the skeet ball game. I got it. No. You didn't listen to me. You should have listened.
Tried to tell you.
Yeah. Well,
could have avoided this.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Please, if you like these episodes, even if you don't like these episodes, fucking hate review us.
Yeah. Do it.
Tell us how you feel on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Go tell us how you feel. And if you love these episodes and you're like, I want these more than 4 times a month, we got episodes banked on breakingtakes.supercast.com, where the catalog goes every month. Bonus episodes, and that can hold you guys over in the meantime, because sometimes life happens. We can't record an episode that week, and it's like, boom, we got episodes in the bank on Breaking Takes Premium.
We're always here.
We're everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. We are, if we were, Tom Brady, you couldn't roast us because we'd be God. We're omniscient. We're omnipresent. We're in your dreams and your nightmares. Your night terrors. When this guy has a night terror, he's seeing us. That's why he's screaming.
Yeah, it's just us there.
Yeah, he's not subscribed to Breaking Takes Premium, he's like, oh fuck, I'm not, and he can't take it. So
that's right. That is the solution. He needs to subscribe to be a breaker or a taker.
Yeah, if they want to,
then he'll be able to sleep peacefully.
100%. If they want to save this relationship, they both got to subscribe right now to breakingtakes.supercast.com, and they're on their way to a fighting chance. So thank you guys for tuning in. We love you. Rise and wake restfully.
Yes. Sleep well tonight,
Sleep
everybody.
well tonight. Yep. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right. See you next time.
Peace.